Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anubha Rohatgi and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches several developmental projects in Tamil Nadu, appreciates hard-working farmers of the state. Prime Minister dedicates Arjun main battle tank to the nation, says these tanks protect the borders and showcase the unity of India. Several development projects to be launched by the Prime Minister in Kerala today. Over 80,52,000 people vaccinated for COVID-19 across the country so far. Recovery rate improves to 97.31%. Election Commission team reviews poll preparedness in Kerala. And in cricket, England were 103 for 6 against India in the second test match at Chennai when reports last came in. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now, the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today complimented the farmers in Tamil Nadu for not only following water conservation methods, but also for having a record food production throughout the history. He said that the historical Grand Untitled Canal system stood as a testament to that. Mr. Modi said that it was a proud fact that the government will improve the irrigation system, which will benefit 2.27 lakh acre land in the state. Quoting from the ancient poet Abhayar, he said that when agriculture improves, the nation grows. He emphasized that the country will give importance to more crop per drop.
I want to appreciate the farmers of Tamil Nadu for record food grain production and good use of water resources. For thousands of years, this Grand Untitled and its canal systems have been the lifeline of the rice bowl Tamil Nadu. The Grand Untitled is a living testimony to our glorious past. It is also an inspiration to our nation's Atmanirbhar Bharat goal.
Launching more than 8,000 crore rupees worth projects in Chennai today, Mr. Modi said that India will continue its fight against COVID and make the world a better place to live in. Mr. Modi saluted the brave warriors of the Pulwama attack. He said that the government was determined to create a most modern defense sector using the Atmanirbhar schemes. He said that India believed in peace, but will protect the sovereignty of the nation at all costs.
No Indian can forget this day. 2 years ago, the Pulwama attack happened. We pay homage to all the martyrs we lost in that attack. We are proud of our security forces. Their bravery will continue to inspire generations.
Mr. Modi said that the government will protect the rightful interests of the Indian fishermen. He said that no fisherman was in the Sri Lankan prison as of now. He said that 1,600 fishermen were released and 313 boats in Sri Lankan custody were released after the efforts of the central government.
India is proud of our fishermen communities. They are symbol of diligence and kindness. In the budget, there are provisions to ensure extra credit mechanism for fishermen. Infrastructure relating to fishing is being upgraded. Modern fishing harbor will come up in 5 centers, including Chennai. We are optimistic about seaweed farming. This will improve lives of coastal communities. For seaweed cultivation, a multi-purpose seaweed park will come up in Tamil Nadu.
He also said that the centre acknowledged the long-standing demand of the Devendra Kula Velalar community and said that their name coincides with his name. He said that they will not be called under 6 to 7 names in the scheduled list of the Constitution. The Prime Minister said that the government was committed to enabling the defence corridor at a cost of 8,100 crore rupees in the state of Tamil Nadu. Earlier, the Prime Minister accepted a salute by the state-of-the-art Arjun main battle tank, indigenously designed, developed and manufactured by the Defence Research and Development Organization's Combat Vehicles Research and Development Establishment in Chennai.
I am proud to dedicate to the country one more warrior to protect our frontiers. I am proud to hand over the indigenously designed and manufactured main battle tank Arjun Mark 1A. It also uses indigenous ammunition. Tamil Nadu is already the leading automobile manufacturing hub of India. Now I see Tamil Nadu evolving as the tank manufacturing hub of India.
Prime Minister also inaugurated the Chennai Metro Rail Phase 1 extension, completed at a cost of 3,770 crore rupees, and flagged off the passenger services from Washermanpet to Vimkonagar. This 9.05 km long extension will link North Chennai with the airport and Central Railway Station.
We are inaugurating the 9-kilometer stretch of the Chennai Metro Rail Phase 1 project. This will go from Washermanpet to Vimkonagar. This project has been completed on schedule despite the global pandemic. The civil construction activities were done by Indian contractors. The rolling stock has been procured locally. This in line with the boost to Atmanirbhar Bharat.
The 22-kilometer long fourth railway line between Chennai Beach and Attipattu was also inaugurated by the Prime Minister today. Laid at a cost of 293.40 crore rupees, this is an additional track to the Tiruvallur districts meant to ease out traffic from Chennai port. Mr. Modi also inaugurated the railway electrification of single-line section in Vilupuram, Kaddalore, Mayiladuthurai, Tanjavur and Mayiladuthurai-Tiruvallur, completed at a cost of 423 crore rupees. The electrification of this 228-kilometer route will enable free flow of traffic without the need for a change of traction between Chennai, Egmore and Kanyakumari.
The electrification of Vilupuram, Tanjavur, Tiruvallur projects will be a great boon to the Delta districts. One of the major things this 228 kilometers line will help doing is to ensure faster movements of food grains.
The Prime Minister laid foundation stone for the extension, renovation and modernization of the Grand Anikat Canal system, which is an important source of irrigation in the Delta districts. The modernization of this canal is to be taken up at a cost of 2,640 crore rupees. Prime Minister laid the foundation stone for the Discovery Campus of Iit Madras. The campus is to be built at Thayyur near Chennai at an estimated cost of 1,000 crore rupees in the first phase over an area of 2 lakh square kilometers.
The Discovery Campus of Iit Madras will have a 2 lakh square meter infrastructure to house world-class research centers. I'm sure that very soon the Discovery Campus of Iit Madras will be a leading center of discovery. It will draw the best talent from all over India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid floral tributes to the portrait of late Chief Minister MGR and Jayalalitha at the dais at the Jawaharlal Nehru Indoor Stadium, where the Prime Minister addressed the public. Earlier, when the Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived at Chennai today, he was given a warm welcome by Tamil Nadu Governor Banwarilal Purohit, Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy, Deputy Chief Minister O. Pannirselvam and other ministers.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will arrive in Kerala this afternoon to lay foundation stone and dedicate various development projects to the nation at Kochi. Elaborate security arrangements and traffic restrictions have been made in the city in view of the Prime Minister's visit. A report from our Cochin correspondent.
The second dose beneficiaries are 7,668. The vaccinations to the frontline workers till date are 21,17,179.
In Uttarakhand, 7 days have passed since the flash flood hit the Rainy Village and Tapovan NTPC project in Chamoli district. Rescue and search operation for the missing persons continues unabated in the NTPC tunnel, where 25 to 35 people are feared trapped, and also at Rainy Village in Chamoli. Agencies have managed to recover 11 bodies since morning, 6 near Rainy Village and 5 from the tunnel at the Tapovan. AIR correspondent covering the calamity at Ground Zero reports that till date 49 bodies have been recovered and around 155 people are still missing.
After almost 7 days of continuous search operation, the rescue teams have recovered 2 bodies from inside the main tunnel. Mucking from this main tunnel is going on continuously and rescue teams have reached till 136 meters in this tunnel, which is said to be 180 meters long. Vertical drilling with new and more powerful drilling machine also continued whole night to expand the diameter of the hole, which leads to another tunnel. Agencies are hoping that this second tunnel can give an idea about the trapped people. Rescue work has also started on barrage area over the tunnel, where maximum number of workers was working at the time when the flash flood came. Meanwhile, an SDRF team has reached the lake that has formed upstream of Rani village near Tapovan, and the situation there is normal. With Ragvesh Pandey in Dehradun, Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Rani village, Tapovan, Chamoli.
The Central Election Commission team, which is currently in Thiruvananthapuram to assess the pre-election preparations in the state, will have discussions with various enforcement agencies today. This will be followed by interactions with the state's Chief Secretary and other senior officials. Further updates will be communicated through a press conference today evening. Yesterday, the central team had a series of discussions with various senior government officials, political party representatives and district collectors. The LDF-UDF had requested the Central Election Commission to conduct the polls before the second week of April. However, the BJP has opined that the polls be conducted only during May. The central team, headed by Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora, will leave for Delhi tomorrow. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, security forces averted a major tragedy and foiled a possible terror attack with the recovery of an improved explosive device from Jammu bus stand. The IED was weighing 7 kilograms. Further details are awaited.
The Indian Navy has carried out a maiden exercise of slithering down from a helicopter with explosive sniffing dogs. 2 explosive sniffing dogs named Minky and Mukti, trained to sniff out explosives, were slithered down from a naval helicopter onto the offshore oil platform Neelam as part of a simulated bomb threat during the recently concluded exercise Prasthan and Sea Vigil. The dogs then proceeded to do their job of sniffing out IEDs. The major slithering of explosive sniffing dogs with their handlers and equipment-laden technicians on board offshore platforms has proved the Navy's reach and response in swift deployability to neutralize bomb or IED threats. The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 97.31%. A total of 11,106 COVID patients have recovered during the last 24 hours. Over 1,611,000 people have recovered from the disease so far, while the active COVID cases in the country stand at over 1,37,000. The Health Ministry said the actual caseload currently comprises only 1.26% of the total positive cases. In the past 24 hours, 996 new cases and 92 deaths were reported in the country. India's case fatality rate is at 1.43%, which is one of the lowest globally.
Government has said that more than 80,52,000 beneficiaries have been vaccinated for COVID-19 till date across the country. Addressing media in New Delhi, Joint Secretary, the Health Ministry, Dr. Mandeep Bhandari, the second dose of COVID-19 vaccination started from yesterday for beneficiaries who have completed 28 days after receipt of the first dose. He said 7,668 healthcare workers have been vaccinated in the second phase so far.
The second dose beneficiaries are 7,668. The vaccinations to the frontline workers till date are 21,17,179.
Dr. Bhandari said more than 59 lakh healthcare workers and over 21 lakh frontline workers have been vaccinated till date. The Health Ministry said a total of 34 persons have been hospitalized after being administered the COVID-19 vaccine so far. This comprises 0.0004% of the total vaccinations. Of the 34 cases of hospitalization, 21 were discharged after treatment, while 11 persons died and 2 are under treatment. The Centre has issued Standard Operating Procedure SOP on preventive measures to contain spread of COVID-19 in offices. In the SOP, Union Health Ministry has said that offices in containment zones shall remain closed except for medical and essential services, and only those outside containment zones will be allowed to open up. It said that generic preventive measures include simple public health measures that are to be followed to reduce the risk of infection with COVID-19. The ministry added that these measures need to be observed by all employees and visitors at all time. These include maintaining a minimum distance of 6 feet in common places, use of face covers or masks at all times, and practicing frequent hand washing. With regard to specific preventive measures for offices, the Health Ministry said that mandatory hand hygiene and thermal screening should be ensured at entrance, and only asymptomatic staff and visitors should be allowed entry. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches several developmental projects in Tamil Nadu, appreciates hard-working farmers of Tamil Nadu. Prime Minister dedicates Arjun main battle tank to the nation, says these tanks protect the borders and showcase the unity of India. Several development projects to be launched by Prime Minister in Kerala today. Over 80,52,000 people vaccinated for COVID-19 across the country so far. Recovery rate improves to 97.31%. Election Commission team reviews poll preparedness in Kerala. And in cricket, England were 106 for 8 against India in the second test match at Chennai when reports last came in. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
A total of 126 fresh cases of COVID-19 were recorded in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of affected people in the city to over 6,36,000. Delhi government has said that over 6,24,000 people have recovered from the infection so far. Presently, the total number of active cases in Delhi is 1,041. In Maharashtra, the number of new patients remained below 3,000 daily since January 20th, but it has been increasing since the last 4 days, especially in Mumbai, Nagpur, Amravati and Wardha. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
Maharashtra reported 3,611 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, taking the state's total caseload to 20,60,186. A total of 1,773 patients were discharged from hospitals, taking the overall number of recoveries to 19,74,248. The state now has 33,269 active cases. Over the last 4 days, the number of patients has been increasing by more than 3,000 per day. Over 6,83,000 health and frontline workers have been vaccinated in the state so far. The second round of vaccination drive for healthcare workers will start in Maharashtra from tomorrow. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Gujarat, schools for class 6th to 8th will reopen from the 18th of this month. State Education Department issued an order yesterday in this regard. Secretary to Education Department Dr. Vinod Rao said that this decision has been taken in the interest of students, but schools will have to strictly follow the guidelines issued by the government. He added that attendance in this offline education will be voluntary and the educational institution will have to get the prescribed consent form from the parents. The present system of online classes will continue for the students who do not join the offline classes. Mr. Rao said instructions have been given to all the district education officers as well as primary education officers to ensure that the schools comply with SOP. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program today will bring a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. V.K. Paul, Chairman, National Task Force on COVID-19 Vaccination, and Dr. Nirja Bhatla, Professor, Gynecology, AIIMS, New Delhi, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free telephone number 1-800-11-5767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on a Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and edition frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards.
Bangladesh has extended closure of educational institutions till February 28. The Education Ministry of Bangladesh announced a further extension of the closure of schools and other educational institutions in view of the corona pandemic. Meanwhile, the COVID-19 vaccination program in the country is moving ahead in full swing. According to the Directorate General of Health Services, more than 7.36 lakh people have been vaccinated in the country since January 27th, when Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina launched the program. Bangladesh has signed an agreement with the Serum Institute of India for the purchase of 30 million doses of the Oxford University AstraZeneca vaccine. Out of it, 5 million doses have arrived in Bangladesh last month. India also gifted 2 million doses of the vaccine to the country. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have expressed grief over the loss of lives in a road accident at Kurnool district of Andhra Pradesh today. The President said the death of pilgrims, including women and a child, is a heart-rending tragedy. Mr. Kovind conveyed his deep empathy for the bereaved families and wished speedy recovery of survivors. The Vice President said he is distressed to hear about the loss of lives in the accident. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said in this hour of sadness his thoughts are with those who lost their loved ones. He hoped that the injured recover at the earliest. 14 people lost their lives in the accident. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy has announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh to the kin of persons who died in the Kurnool accident today.
Union government has said that more than 91 lakh paddy farmers have been benefited from current Kharif marketing season procurement operations with minimum support price value of over 1,20,000 crore rupees. Agriculture Ministry said the government continues to procure Kharif crops at its minimum support price from the farmers as per its existing MSP schemes. The ministry said more than 638 lakh tons of paddy have been procured from various states. Government through its nodal agencies have also procured over 3,09,000 tons of moong, urad, groundnut, pods and soya bean, benefiting more than 1,67,000 farmers. In Madhya Pradesh, 3-day Mandu festival began at Mandu in the historic town of Dhar district yesterday. More from a Bhopal correspondent.
State Culture and Tourism Minister Usha Thakur inaugurated the Mandu Festival. Handicrafts related to handmade art are also being displayed in the Mandu Utsav to encourage vocal for local. Dino Adventure Park and Fossils Museum also inaugurated by State Culture and Tourism Minister. State Minister informed that Dinosaur Park is the country's first modern fossil park which has 24 eggs and other fossils of dinosaurs on display. The park also provides information related to life of dinosaurs. Principal Secretary Tourism and Culture Shri Shivshekhar Shukla said that such events will not only familiarize people around the world with the special culture of rural Madhya Pradesh, but will also help in realizing the dream of Atmanirbhar Madhya Pradesh by creating new employment opportunities. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar has said that his government will bring a law under which protesters will have to pay the damages caused to public property during an agitation. Referring to a Supreme Court verdict, Mr. Khattar said nobody has the right to vandalize public property. Our Chandigarh correspondent reports that BJP-ruled Uttar Pradesh was the first state to bring the law to recover compensation from those who damaged public and private property during protests and riots. Claims for compensation will be decided by designated claims tribunals that will be authorized to investigate complaints and assess the damage.
Haryana Chief Minister Mr. Manohar Lal met the Union Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah in Parliament House at New Delhi yesterday. During the meeting, Chief Minister apprised the Home Minister regarding ongoing farmers' agitation. Later, while responding to a question regarding damage caused by the rioters to government property, he said that the state government is considering to enact a strict law to recover losses caused by the agitators from their properties. Chief Minister said he had discussed various other issues with the Union Home Minister. Ashwini Kumar Sharma, AIR News, Chandigarh.
Renowned health magazine Lancet has honored social worker Dr. Rani Bang as a leader in women's reproductive health in its February 2021 issue. The magazine wrote, Dr. Abhay and Rani Bang's studies have changed medical practice in resource-poor settings all over the world. Bang led on a groundbreaking study published in the Lancet in 1988 that found 92% of rural women experienced gynecological problems and only 1 in 10 of them had ever sought any help. To improve diagnosis and treatment, Rani Bang led on training traditional birth attendants. The incredible success of their easy-to-reproduce interventions were taken up by WHO, UNICEF and the Indian government and changed neonatal practice in low-resource countries including neighbouring Pakistan, Afghanistan and Nepal.
In cricket, India gained an upper hand on the day 2 of the second cricket test been played at Chennai as 8 of the England batsmen already back into the pavilion. England were 106 for 8 when last reports came in. Earlier, India were all out for 329 runs in the first innings. Resuming at the overnight score of 300 for 6, India lost 4 wickets for a paltry 29 runs. Only Rishabh Pant showed resistance to English attack and completed a well-crafted half-century. On day 1, India rode on Rohit Sharma's masterful innings of 161 runs to dominate the proceedings on the first day. In Gujarat, the world's largest cricket stadium at Motera in Ahmedabad is all set to host the 3rd and 4th test matches as well as 5 T20 internationals between India and England starting from 24th of this month. The bookings for the 3rd day and night test match began today. In view of the COVID pandemic, the authorities have decided to allow 50% spectators of the stadium's capacity during the test matches.
India and Poland share a long-standing friendly relationship marked by high-level political contacts, vibrant economic engagement and traditional cultural links. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, Ambassador of Poland to India, Adam Burakowski, shared his insights on India-Poland relations. He said Poland is a natural ally for India. Mr. Burakowski added that both the countries share the same values like freedom, democracy, stability and peace that bind them together.
India gave a shelter for Polish people in need during the very dark and very bloody period of the Second World War, and we will hold this memory together. In both places we made many events to commemorate, and we have a very good relations and also personal relations with both royal families from Kolhapur and Jamnagar.
For listening to the full interview, tune in to our Spotlight program on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:15 p.m. IRCTC-run Mumbai Central Ahmedabad Tejas Express will resume its services from today. The IRCTC had cancelled all trips of this train from 24th November in view of the coronavirus pandemic. Train number 82901 Mumbai Central Ahmedabad Tejas Express will depart Mumbai Central at 15:50 hours to reach Ahmedabad at 22:05 hours the same day. Similarly, train number 82902 Ahmedabad Mumbai Central Tejas Express will leave Ahmedabad at 0640 hours to arrive at Mumbai Central at 13:05 hours the same day.
In Myanmar, the military junta has suspended laws constraining security forces from detaining suspects or searching private property without court approval. Military junta also ordered the arrest of well-known backers of mass protests against this month's coup. A series of announcements came on the 8th day of the countrywide demonstrations against the February 1 coup and detention of elected leader Aung San Suu Kyi. Military General Min Aung Hlaing signed an order yesterday suspending 3 sections of laws for protecting the privacy and security of the citizens, which had been introduced during the gradual liberalization. The U.S. Senate has acquitted former President Donald Trump for a second time, blocking the Democrats' attempt to punish him for the storming of the Capitol by his supporters. After a week of the impeachment trial, only 57 senators, including 7 Republicans, voted to convict him last night. The 57-43 tally fell 10 votes short of the 2/3 majority needed to convict him and to allow the Senate to move to disqualify him from holding future office. Mr. Trump welcomed his second impeachment acquittal and said his movement has only just begun. He slammed the trial as yet another phase of the greatest witch hunt in the history of America. Republican leader of the Senate, Chuck Schumer, said that it was a vote of infamy in the history of the United States. Mr. Trump was impeached by the House of Representatives in January on the charge that he incited an insurrection when his supporters attacked the Capitol on January 6th. The House accused him of inciting the riot in which his supporters entered the Senate chamber and offices of officials.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. Jammu will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature in the city was 9 degrees Celsius, while maximum will be around 22 degrees. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature in the city was 0 degrees Celsius, while it is expected to rise up to around 15 degrees Celsius. Leh will see partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature was -9 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 6 degrees. Gilgit will have partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between -1 and 19 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky. The temperature will vary from 7 to 24 degrees Celsius. National capital Delhi experienced moderate fog in the morning. Minimum temperature recorded was 8 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 27 degrees. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky with temperature varying between 19 and 30 degrees Celsius. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky. The temperature will fluctuate between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius. Kolkata saw fog in the morning and will have mainly clear sky during the day. Minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius, while the maximum may go up to 30 degrees. Dehradun will experience mist with temperature rising from 11 degrees Celsius to 24 degrees. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launches several developmental projects in Tamil Nadu, appreciates hard-working farmers of Tamil Nadu. Prime Minister dedicates Arjun main battle tank to the nation, says these tanks protect the borders and showcase the unity of India. Several development projects to be launched by Prime Minister in Kerala today. Over 80,52,000 people vaccinated for COVID-19 across the country so far. Recovery rate improves to 97.31%. Election Commission team reviews poll preparedness in Kerala. And in cricket, England were 106 for 8 against India at tea in the second test match at Chennai. And with that, we end the midday news.